Hey, Josh Tigg, Running T Farms. Sunday afternoon cattle move here. Just thought I would get a little video. We have concluded our fall breeding season, our final fall breeding season. Since we've pulled the bulls out, we will no longer have a fall calving herd once these cows that just got done breeding calve out next fall. So we've got the cattle back together. Really nice to have them back in one herd. It's much easier to manage one herd than it is two. We generally run two herds about half of the year as it is right now. We generally break off some wean calves and finishing animals around April-May time frame, and we will usually graze them separately roughly until the October time frame, just so we can let them at a little bit higher quality forage from time to time, because we are trying to get finish on those animals, and then we wean the calves, so we separate them from their mamas. But we've been really wet here last week. Well, really for the last 2 weeks. We've had almost 8 inches of rain here in the last 2 weeks. Had a flooding rain last Tuesday. All of our bottom land was underwater to some degree, some of it much worse than others. The lower down this, I don't know how many, we probably have a mile or two, maybe slightly more than 2 miles of bottoms up this particular creek in our area. It's called the Bell Branch. It's a very large creek, or a very small river. I don't know how it got the name Bell Branch, but anyway, we had a significant amount of rainfall last Tuesday, close to 3.5 inches, after just having 3/4 of an inch 2 days before, 2.5 inches a couple days before that, and some more rain before that. All that dry weather we've been experiencing, we was in moderate to severe drought most of last summer. Needless to say, we've got that taken care of. But we had some of the bottoms. It's lower down the stream there. We had 4 to 5 feet of water in them for 2 days. Right here, we were actually grazing in a bottom when that started, so we had to kind of hustle around and get these cows moved up here on the hill. They were grazing in that bottom down there. I don't know if you can see it, but you can still see there's water standing in that bottom. But we are watering out of that same creek right now that flooded. This is on the newly rented farm that we have not, we just getting over here, getting started on it. So we're still having to water out of the creeks. We've gotten too far away from any pressurized water source, so we are watering out of the streams, but we do limit their access to just specific points that we move about every 3 or 4 days, so as we don't mess up the creek banks any worse than they have been. This farm's been continuously grazed for a long time, and the cattle have had full access to the creeks and streams, so pretty severe damage to some of the stream banks. But they are having to walk, I don't know, probably 500 feet here to get to water. We have a wide lane built across that bottom so they can access the creek. It is taking some pugging, more than I would like, but you do what you have to do. Sometimes we will give it a good long rest next year to help it recover. But finally got back to some good non-selective grazing. Got dry enough. We've had these cattle spread out for the last several days. But as you can see, we're back to getting some very good harvest efficiency. You can see what this stockpile is not hardly as good as what was down there in the bottom where we were harvesting 336 days to the acre. But I'd still say probably a good 250 days to the acre here since we've got the harvest efficiency back up here. So we're grazing at right about 750, 800,000 pounds of stock density to the acre. Manure's looking very good still. Of course, we did see the manure show a little bit better quality forage as we was allowing them to graze more selectively. That's to be expected. If you let them graze selectively, they will eat the best and refuse the rest. And so that's a tool you can have in your toolbox. If you have plenty of stockpiled grass and you start to see, you know, some of that manure look a little bit unfavorable for whatever class of livestock you're grazing, you always have the option to let them graze a little more selectively. And if there's a high enough quality forage in that sward, they'll seek it out and you'll see their manure get better. But it also comes at the expense of a lot less cow days per acre. So that's why we think it's so important, important enough actually that we took the step to move from a fall calving herd to a spring calving herd to get that production. We know we can stockpile a lot of forage, and we know that most of the time it's borderline of being good enough for a lactating animal, but it's great for very late lactation or dry cows. So we took the step there to get our production in line with our animal production in line with our forage production. And we, like I said earlier, just concluded our last fall breeding. So I know I got some people that was asking about paddock setup, and I promise I will get to a video on that to show how we're setting up these grazing lanes. Still, we've got back to 4 moves a day. We were just doing once daily moves. I was actually giving them enough ground, you know, for about probably 2 days worth of forage, but we were moving them every day because the ground was so wet. And I'll actually come right over here and you can see what the harvest efficiency looked like when we allowed them to graze more selectively. So whole lot of forage left behind. Manure's looking pretty good, but it was necessary to spread them out so that we didn't destroy the ground. So the ground's firm back up. We're back up to grazing non-selectively. I get a count here on these cow days. I'll post, I'm guessing around probably 250 days we can harvest up here on the hill. Like I said, we were in severe to moderate drought most of last summer. So we expect to stockpile a little less than normal. The really good stockpile was down in the bottom, so it even though we were lacking in rain, there was enough moisture in the ground in those bottoms to grow a large amount of forage. So hope everybody has a fantastic week. As always, you can check us out online at runningtbeef.com. You can like us on Facebook at Running T Beef. If you're watching on YouTube, click that like and subscribe button on your way out. And everybody have a great next week.